military, union, certifications, whatever it is that you and your students are looking to do, we're here to help you do that. We are supporting students if there may be still the exploration point or they still need to maybe visit some schools. We have opportunities that we can give you and them, that they can do virtual, that they can do in person. We're very fortunate to have college reps come and visit us as well. We're here to also support your students and you as you're filling out the financial aid forms. We have an expert who will go into more in depth, but there are a couple of forms that will have to be filled out. If your student is thinking about doing something with the trade, you'll want them to fill out a FAFSA. If they're thinking of doing community college, you'll want students to do the FAFSA. So it is a process, but we want you to know that you're not going to be alone. We're here to help and support you as you go through the whole steps. We want to make sure that we're completing or helping you and the student complete all the applications. And truly, whatever your student is looking to do after high school, there is a process, there is a deadline. And those are the things that we've been discussing with the students as we've done these workshops, is saying you have to be aware of deadlines, and again, we're here to help you. And that we are looking to make sure that they're completing this year with all the skills that they need so that they can have the bright future that we hope that they're going to have. Okay, so if students are still maybe looking to find a right fit, or they have some thoughts about what it is that they might want to do, but they're still exploring, we still have a lot of great options for them. So we have some virtual events through NACAC, which is the National Association for College and Mission Counseling. They have two virtual events. One is October 19th, one is November 9th. It's an opportunity for students and families to connect with mission reps from schools from around the country. If you have a student who has a specific interest in the performing of visual arts, there is a college fair at Boston University. There is a registration link, which we will happily share with you at the end of the presentation. And we also have representatives who come to our office area, and we announce it. We also have we also have information on Naviance, which Rachel will talk about in a little bit. But these representatives are going to be the first step in helping students connect to colleges, and that when you're connecting with representatives, they keep a tally of students who have expressed interest, and then they are typically the ones that will be reading the applications and things like that. So I don't want anyone to panic and say, okay, my student is still maybe in the exploration phase, and like we're totally behind. There is still plenty of time for us to work with you and your student to finalize their plans, and that there are still supports out there, and you still need some support. There we go.
All right. So I use microphone. I don't normally use microphones, so I apologize. All right. So for finding the right fit, there are a couple of platforms that we're going to be using, but I also want to highlight these platforms because these are the platforms that you will be using this year with your students. Okay. These are where they're going to go and ultimately where you are going to go. Okay. So one of the great places that we have, which is for the right fit, is My Big Future. It's through College Board. They just type in College Board, My Big Future, and it comes up. Most of them already have a College Board account because they've done the PSATs and they've done the SATs, and some of them have done AP. They've got all the acronyms. This is a great tool. They can highlight colleges by interest, location, all kinds of things. Now, the other platform that we use is Naviance. It has a super match program. It has scattergrams. The nice thing about Naviance is that we upload their GPA. We upload their SAT scores, their PSAT scores, working on AP scores, so that Naviance will actually, when it makes their list and it searches their list, it will tell them, this is an academic match for you. This is a reach for you. This is a safety for you. And so as they're making their choices, they can start selecting schools that are sort of in all those areas. We never want a student to pick all reach schools because we don't want them to be disappointed. But we also know we want our students to challenge themselves, so we don't want them just picking all of the easy schools. Oh, I know I'm going to get in here first. We want them to pick a wide range of schools based on their interests, and hopefully that includes selective, very selective, and
going home at night and saying, what can I tell my senior to do? You can tell them to check the senior Google Classroom, okay? This is the College and Career Seminar and Resources. Why are they gonna wanna go there? They're gonna wanna go there because this is the one-stop shopping for everything that they could possibly need. We have counselor appointments, information on tutoring support. A big thing you can remind your senior to do their senior questionnaire. We want to make sure that we can highlight them in their letters of recommendation. An important note, all of your students, whatever their plan, will get a letter of recommendation from the counselors. I'm also going to put a plug out. Please, if you have not done the brag sheet, we want to hear you brag about your children. Please tell us how amazing they are. We know they're amazing, but we only see them 6 hours a day. You get to see them all the time, so we want to hear from you about how awesome they are. We have Naviance in here for your seniors, the Common App. FAFSA is available now, so there's the FSA ID, FAFSA, CSS profile. Our wonderful expert from College Affordable is going to tell you more about those financial aid resources, but the links are available on the Google Classroom for your seniors, okay? The other important thing is that we have the entire college application for your seniors to go through and see where they are. We have jobs, we have internships, community college options. If your child is like, you know what, I think I want to do the union or I want to do the trades, we have an entire section where we talk about different apprenticeship options, trade school options, career options. Again, the trades are fabulous, but we want to make sure that your child has a plan to break into those areas. We have military. If your child's like, I want a job, I need a job right after high school, we have information on that. And then gap years. If your child's thinking, you know what, I want to do college, but I'm not ready right now, gap years can be a great way to bridge the time between the time they graduate in high school to when they go to college. There's travel, volunteer, sailing around the world. And what's cool about those, if there's a gap year program that has college credit with it, oftentimes financial aid will cover that. So that's a good thing to note. The big thing for everyone, and this is what our guru is going to talk about, we include all the financial aid information, scholarships, resources, everything. If you go home at night, once a week, twice a week, put a reminder on your phone, say, hey, have you checked the Google Classroom? My lovely child who I adore. Do it. They get so many emails that I could send an email and they're not going to get it, but if you just remind them, hey, are there any scholarships? Any financial aid, any announcements, I think that is a great way for you to be involved without having them feel like, oh my God, my parent is just stalking me all the time, okay? The other resource that we have, and this is something where I wanna make sure that you all know that you have all been invited. I do need to get logged back in again. We have fake accounts, and she's my parent in my fake account.
Doing this on the spot, I apologize.
This is the real deal breaker for college is can your child remember all their passwords?
Apparently, I am failing at that. What is the deal? We were working all the way till we went live. I apologize.
That's how tech works. It's like when your car breaks down, it works when the mechanic gets it, but not when you, yay!
There we go.
All right, excellent. So it is important to note that all of you have been invited to join your child's Naviance. If for some reason that invitation got lost or you got it and you said, what is this spam, and it went away and you're not in it, reach out to your child's counselor. I'm the person that resets it, but it just might be easier for you to reach out to your child's counselor or tell your child, your scholar, ask your counselor to resend the email. This is the parent view of Naviance. This is the primary platform that your child is using to send recommendation letters, request transcripts, and to do a lot of the behind the scenes. They are also using Common App, but there is no parent portal for that, so you can't stalk them there, but you can here. So when you're in it, this is what you as a parent will see. You will see what their post-secondary plan is. What have they chosen? Then, as you scroll down, you will see the colleges that your child is applying to. Even if they are doing it on the Common App, these two platforms are linked. Anything they add to the Common App goes right into Naviance. You can see deadlines. You can see if they've submitted it. You can see if they've missed it. And so that can be very helpful for you just to sort of monitor how they're doing and to see if you need to provide them support. For colleges I'm thinking about, these are the colleges that your child maybe hasn't fully committed to applying to. You can see this list, maybe have a conversation with them if there's anything that you see on here that they might really want to do. And then down at the bottom, as we start doing scholarships, all our scholarships will be posted on Naviance so that your child can find them, and so can you. You can look at them. You can see what scholarships has my child actually applied to. So again, you can really start helping them with that money because the scholarships is going to be the next biggest part after the application. Now, we talked about internal opportunities or in-school opportunities for college visits. For your child, it's under the What's New. You can also see what colleges are coming to Salem High School. And if you really want your child to check in with an admissions rep, maybe it's a school they just decided on and you want them to get more information, you want to have the school put a face to the name, this is a great opportunity. It's literally right up on the 3rd floor of the library during their advisory. We can't make it any easier. Again, you can see all the different colleges. Now, most of them are from New England, but you'll notice we have one from Chicago. We also have a school coming from San Diego, California. Again, those are sometimes places that are hard for families to get to. You can also play around on here. Under colleges, you have Supermatch. You can see of who they've requested letters of recommendation from. You can look at scholarships. You basically have almost the same access that they do. You can't apply for anything under it, but you can at least add colleges and see what they've done. So again, if you don't have access to this, please send your child or reach out to the school counselor and we'll make sure that we get you all connected for that. All right, so going to the slideshow. All right. Work. All right. The other thing to note is that Naviance is also very helpful for post-secondary planning for students who are looking for careers. These are some of the schools that or some of the programs that we have articulation agreements with.
So on this slide, you're seeing all schools that we have articulation agreements with, but also the certifications that your students are leading with if they're enrolled in a Chapter 74 CTE program here at Salem High School. And through our CTE program, we have articulation agreements with schools throughout all community colleges, but then also a few four-year schools, and continually expanding. So an example is over in our culinary program that we have an articulation agreement with Johnson and Wales. So they'll accept up to 12. They will give students 12 credits towards their bachelor if they major in either culinary or hospitality major program. So that is something that counselors and their teachers can discuss with them, but also just a way to get into industry as well as earn credits in college for programs.
Exactly. And another school that we have an articulation with is Keene State. And they actually give credits for your continuing CTE programs, and they don't necessarily specify which ones because they are more of a comprehensive four-year college and university, so that they have programs in all sort of technical areas, nursing, building management, construction management, project management. So a lot of the things that your students will be interested in. And again, when we go back to that Google Classroom, this is an excellent resource for students. One of the things that we found with the unions and the trades, students were really at a loss. Naviance is more focused on college, although there are trade schools in Naviance, so that's something your child can work for if that's what they're looking at. But there are a lot of like unions, apprenticeships, pre-apprenticeships, and students couldn't find them. They would connect with their CTE teachers, but things were changing so fast that we found that students were missing opportunities. So some of the things that we have highlighted, these are, for example, we have under here the registered apprenticeship programs that are in Massachusetts. These are programs that are recognized by the state of Massachusetts. Not only are they in the traditional, construction trades, but we're also seeing expansion of those apprenticeships into early childhood education and education, nursing, and biotech engineering. So there are opportunities for students to get into the STEM field without having to do a 4-year college until they're ready to do so. This slide here, this is information on the Mass Union apprenticeships and when those application cycles come up. So if your child is interested in the union or the trades, definitely have them sit down and look at this, talk about what they're interested in, and make sure that they connect with their counselor. And then finally, something that else is really important, we have several pre-apprenticeship programs. These are great because they allow students to get into a particular area, get hours, get certifications, and then eventually move into a full apprenticeship. It is important to know that our students in our CTE fields, especially like electrical, building property, is carpentry now, right? As well as our computer science, actually earn enough hours to start as a journeyman. Journeyman 1. So they actually get a full year of apprenticeship done while they're in high school. And again, for your students who are in CTE, who are maybe I want to do college or I want to do CTE, there are also, like we said, colleges like Keene State that do both so that they don't have to decide. It is not an if or, it can be both. All right, so now that I have talked a lot, I am going to now pass this on to Mr. D.
Good evening, everyone. So as part of the academic planning, one of the things that we've been working through with the seniors, especially this past couple of weeks, is making sure that we review their transcripts, their grades, their GPA, identifying areas that they need improvement with or areas that are strength for them, ensuring all of the required courses for graduation requirements are complete. We actually gave them a tracker, and we went through reviewing their transcripts, making sure that they're meeting all of those academic requirements, and also coming up with a plan for the seniors and with their post-secondary goals in mind. As we see here in this graph from NACAC, one of the 3 most important areas for graduation admissions is the grades and the college prep courses. And I apologize, it's a little small there for you to see, but and the overall grades and also the strength of their high school curriculum. So making sure we match their areas of interest with the classes that support that and that will be great for them to show when they're applying for college.
So if you go to the NACAC website, this is easy to Google if you're interested to look at that graph in a little more detail. One of the things to really look at and to examine is how colleges are ranking different factors in an application. And one of the big surprises that students continually see is that the strength of a high school curriculum is number 3 on that list. So grades are really important. Your total high school grades in all your courses is important, but that rigor and strength in curriculum is high on that list, and that shocks a lot of seniors. The amount of seniors that walk into our school counselor's office and say, I worked really hard for 3 years, I have a great GPA, and I just want to take a break. What are the easiest classes I can take my senior year? Is not what we want to say. That could have a significant negative impact to a student's college application. We want to ensure that they are in courses that are aligned with their post-secondary plans, that are the most rigorous for them. And it looks different for all students. So we're certainly not saying every single student in this room should take AP Calculus. it's dependent on what is the most rigorous for your child and aligned with the things that they want to do after high school, their post-secondary pathway. But they should have the strongest amount of curriculum that they can have, courses that they can take, up until their end of their senior year. One of the most heartbreaking conversations I've had since being in this position was a student who had applied and was accepted to Dartmouth. We submitted her final transcript. She had gotten her application, or gotten her acceptance letter, and went to change her courses because she really just wanted to take it easy. I worked super hard. I got into my dream school, and second semester pulled some of her APs into semester electives against the advisement of her school counselor, and also started to slack a bit on her grades in general, and did pass all of her courses, but not at the same level that she had been since freshman year. And Dartmouth called me and asked to explain the transcript, and was there extenuating circumstances that may have played a factor? And unfortunately, there wasn't. Her acceptance was rescinded. So even working that hard up until that moment, unfortunately, this was not a Salem high school student, this was a Somerville high school student, but it's a story that I talk about frequently with students because it can and does happen a lot more often than students realize, that families realize, that the strength of curriculum, the students that are taking from freshman all the way to senior year that align with the thing they're interested in, and how the effort that they put into those classes matter all the way until the end. And like our counselors had said earlier on, that we have a ton of supports and services available for students through the tutoring center, through after-school programs, enrichment and anchor blocks in crew for teachers to connect with students to get extra help, to ensure that we're supporting them through that process. And it's okay to struggle academically. We want them to academically grapple with that information, not struggle grades-wise, but academically just work with the material. If it is too easy, if they're breezing through this material, then they're misplaced. And we're looking to strengthen their curriculum in the areas that they are excelling at. And we're here to support them through that assessment and reassessment so that they're earning 3s and 4s and having a strong curriculum, but that they're also getting ready for college. And the reason why this is so important for college admissions is because it shows that college, that students are ready for a rigorous high-level coursework and high-level thinking that they're expecting at their institutions. So we're now completed our add drop process here at Salem High, which I am very happy to say. But as we are going into second semester and students are looking at their second semester courses to really evaluate those, and are they at the same strength of curriculum and strength of coursework as their first semester classes? If we're making adjustments, that are we making them in areas that are still aligned with a strong transcript and strong coursework to their post-secondary plan? And that's what our team is here to assist with. I also want to say that none of this is happening with your students in a vacuum. We encourage and expect that families are part of this process. So if you at any point can call the school counseling office, the college and career office, and ask for an appointment with a counselor for everyone to sit down at the table, review transcripts, review where your students are in the application process. There are lots of different ways to ensure that you can check on your students throughout the process, but we're also here for you as well as a support in this. It is, even if you've had students, they have siblings that have gone through this before, every year is a new year. Every student is unique. And this process is like starting over again every time you do it. And we're here to help you through that, not just your student, but you as well.
And once again, we can't emphasize enough that communication is key. So if there's any questions at any point, we're happy to make appointments, book appointments, and the students have the links to schedule an appointment with us. So it's easy as going in, once again, to the Google Classroom so we can set up that appointment time and make sure that we answer all the questions. So standardized testing. So this year, Salem High School is going to do SAT Day on October 21st, 2025. All students scored as seniors. That's really important. They have to be seniors with the original year of graduation of 2026. They will be able to test when they register by October 1st. It's the digital exam, and it's held in school, and it begins at 8 a.m., so it's really important for students to be here on time. So I tell the kids that it's treated as a school day. Come in 7:45, 7:30, or the earlier the better, to make sure that you're here for that 8 a.m. start time. And any student who arrives late might not be able to test. So once again, they have to be here at 8 a.m. or even before that to be able to start testing. If you'd like to check in, your scholars' accommodations status for an exam, or if you have any questions about SAT accommodations, that's for students with an IEP or with a 504. You can see Ms. Souza for any questions or to request those accommodations. How to sign up if they are not going to take the October 21st exam, they could sign up through their College Board account, and they can register for a Saturday exam using their just login and password. And they can register for the exam choosing the nearest school that provides the exam on that specific date that they are looking for. And once again, we can provide fee waivers for students if they need fee waivers in order to be able to take the exam. And we can also help them sign up for the exam if they need it. Just schedule an appointment with one of us, and we'll be happy to assist.
And just for your information, there was a Google form that did go out. I think its last day was today, I think. That is how your senior signs up for the in-school exam, and that is because we do not need the same information that the College Board needs. The deadline, though, for that is tomorrow at end of day. And that is because we have to order the tests and make sure that the students are properly registered for the test. So if there is any chance that your child wants to take the SAT in the building, please make sure that they register. Again, the other thing is if your student knows for a fact that they want to do the union, they want to do the trades, that they're like, oh my God, I think that's what I want to do, and they've taken the SAT, they don't feel stressed to have them take it again. It's good for them to do it at least once in case down the road they decide to go for college. But again, if they know what their path is and that's their set path, they don't necessarily need to take it again. This is really for those students that want that extra chance at math or that extra chance at English to get the highest scores that they possibly can. So again, end of day tomorrow. And they have to register. I had some parents try. It has to be them. Sorry.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So as students are looking to take the SATs, this is something that they've now taken at minimum one time here at Salem High School, that all students that were here as juniors took the in-school SAT. And we've had quite a few, especially colleges that are requiring the SAT or they're looking at merit aid, that they've taken it over the summer as well. So this is students' second or possibly third time taking it. The reason why you'd want to take the exam multiple times is for that reason. So colleges do something called super scoring the SATs. So if your student did really well in English, for example, but they feel like they put all their emphasis in that, they didn't get the math score that they wanted, and they take it again, if their English score stayed the same or even went slightly lower, but their math score went up, colleges will take the best of both. So they will super score that exam. So the benefit of taking it multiple times, especially if you're looking at one particular section, is for that reason. So you can get the best outcome. So if your student took this test in the SAT as a junior and did really well, but they felt that they could do a little bit better in one section, and they're just focusing on that section for this exam, that is okay. That's what they should be doing. That way that they can get the best score in both sections, they can be from different tests. So next steps here at Salem High is that we're doing lots of work to support you and your scholar in this process. We do have the senior counselor workshops. The first workshop has already taken place, so all of your students have already received that in-school workshop. And there will be a few more throughout the year. Individual meetings are starting right away with students. Many have already happened, especially for students that are applying early action, early decision. Where counselors are scheduling those meetings and reviewing and finalizing post-secondary plans and going over individual next steps. This is all general information. Your scholar is an individual in this process, and counselors are experts to work through them on their specific goals and next steps. Also, College and Career Month is October. So very busy in Salem to have that opportunity in October. But for seniors, we have our I Applied week, and there'll be lots of information in Principal Burns' newsletter around that. But during that week, we'll have lots of activities and workshops geared towards seniors, especially those who are applying early action, early decision, to submit their FAFSA, and then celebrations around completing those applications. And then finally, we'll keep an eye out on Parent Square on the C3 page of the website. We'll have multiple community and evening events throughout the year, such as a FAFSA night, a FAFSA completion event, scholarship support, all throughout the year. So both support-based events as well as celebration events as we go through your student senior year. And now I'm very excited to kick this presentation off to College Affordable. We are really excited to be partnering with them this year. We have Brian here to discuss some financial aid and affordability, which is certainly the topic that is most on everybody's mind. We are, like I said, really excited to work with College Affordable this year and ensure that students not only are able to be prepared for their post-secondary plans, get accepted to the schools that they're interested in that align with those dreams and goals, but also have a pathway for affordable opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. It's great to be here. Thank you for all your time. I know I stand between all of you in the Red Sox game, so I'm going to try and keep it really short and sweet. They're losing 1-0, so we have a crisis in New York going on. This will be a little bit unorthodox and probably what you're expecting. So my goal is to not explain everything you need to know about financial aid. That's not how it works. It's a lot of information. It's overwhelming. My goal tonight is to get you engaged, help you understand what you need to do next, and get you connected with us and why that should be something you're really excited to do. It's great to hear, Megan, that 70% of the students you met with, this is on their mind. It should be. And so, you can take good notes, but you'll see how we're going to go about actually helping you answer the questions you need answered when you need them answered, because everybody's situation is unique. And so a little bit about me and College Affordable, and then we'll kind of jump into sort of where to go next. So as Megan said, my name's Brian Gardner. I am co-founder of College Affordable and also currently serving as the executive director. As I like to tell everyone, I am not a financial aid expert. I'm a poster child for everything that you can do wrong in this process. More than anything, I am a parent. And I had 3 kids in college last year. And I got 2 off the payroll. They actually never go off the payroll, just for the record, but we're down to 1. So I've lived this process firsthand, and I've made just about every mistake you can make. And it's what makes me super passionate about this. But I was also first generation to go to college. So my parents were immigrants. Father died when I was 13 years old. My mother and I kind of tried to figure this thing out ourselves and made mistakes. Finally figured out by senior year I could go to the financial aid office at Wesleyan University, which is where I went to undergraduate, and I had my whole case put together and explained that I was the one paying the mortgage and this is what was going on in our life. And they said, if you just come to us a little earlier, we could have helped you. So I share with you that because, this goes way back for me, and it's something I'm super passionate about. I beg for these opportunities to get in front of the parents because you've got to take advantage of what we have to offer to you. And I want to personalize it personalize how you connect with our team, because the results are real, and you're going to see a little bit here in terms of what these boil down to in terms of numbers that hopefully gets you very excited about this. So with that, we are a nonprofit. So we're a 501(c)(3). We got our nonprofit status about 2.5 years ago now. And I say that because the work that we provide to you as students, families, counselors, it's always free. There's no charge, there's no catch. We don't remarket your data. We don't partner with loan companies. Loan companies would love to put their big logo all over what College Affordable does. We're not interested. We raise money and donors give us money to make you guys have as much help as you can have through this process. And so there's no catch. The only thing that gets in the way of this is if you don't take advantage of the help. And this happens all the time. You know, a parent comes up to me, I thought this was just for low-income students. No, we help low-income students, but everybody needs help through this process, right? And so if you think you don't qualify, don't assume that. Let us try and help you understand the process. Our job is to make you an educated consumer. This is a huge purchase. Okay, Wellesley College, Syracuse University next year are going to be over $100,000. That's right. And they're not going to send you a letter next year saying, oh, we're going to cut tuition next year, our costs went down. The letter that's going to come out is say, we just want to share the good news, we're only going to go up by 4% next year, right? I think we all understand those realities. The good news, there's good news and bad news in this whole journey. The bad news is what you kind of obviously know. College can be very, very expensive, right? The process you have to go through, the forms you have to complete are tedious. Okay, it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to call it quits. 50% of Pell Grant eligible kids 2 years ago never completed the FAFSA. $4 billion of free grant money went unclaimed just because kids couldn't get the forms done. Okay, the good news is that there is a ton of money out there to help you. You just got to know how to get to it. You got to be able to navigate it, and that's where we come in. Okay, the other part is Massachusetts is a great state to be going to college now. Community colleges are free, as long as you complete the FAFSA. I think Megan already said that, right? We'll come back to that in a little bit. But then there's other programs. A little confusing if you try and navigate the state site about what exactly is there. That's where we can help you. But if you're Pell Grant eligible and you come out of community college after 2 years, you can transfer into Massachusetts' great state universities, typically at no cost. Okay? So there's a lot of good news, but there's also the bad news. And we're not adversarial to the colleges. I may come across like that as sort of the old guy in the rocking chair. Higher education, whatever your pathway, 2-year college, trade school, 4-year, graduate, whatever you're doing, it's worth it. It's a great investment, okay? Don't lock in on one school is going to be your answer in this journey. Okay, don't say, I'm going to go to Northeastern and I'm going to get an engineering degree and I'm going to be, you know. When you do that, you give away so much leverage in this process. All right, so keep that in mind as parents, guardians, and kids that are here as well. Keep your options open, all right? And we'll travel through this together. All right, you have all this slide deck, so I'm not going to go through all of these slides, but it's a leave behind. So I'll try and hit the ones that are the key in the time that we have, all right? So I think what makes us different from other nonprofits that are in this space that are helping and doing great work, you know, the team. It's the people that are helping you. So you can draw an X through me, because I'm not a financial aid expert. My job is to fundraise and evangelize, like we're doing tonight. But our team represents over 70 years of experience at financial aid at the college level. So including one of our co-founders, not in the picture. We wouldn't let him get in there. But so these are all former financial aid officers with over 10 plus years of experience at the college level. They really know what they're talking about. They understand unique financial situations. And that's one of the challenging things about this process. I don't know what to tell you. You have to reveal all of your financial information, right? And the more you know, if it's a CSS profile, they're going to ask for more information. And certain colleges have their own institutional forms, like Bentley, and they're going to ask for even more information. They want to know when you bought your car and how much the car is valued at. I mean, okay. And so, but our team really knows what they're talking about. They've been there, they've done that. They're great listeners, they're great problem solvers, they're responsive, and they're going to meet you where you are. The earlier you start in this process working with us, the better. Okay, ideally we start working with families in junior years. Don't worry about it, it's not too late. We'll talk about what are some of the most critical things you have to do now beyond just getting the FAFSA done. But our team is what makes the difference. So when you call or text or email or hopefully schedule one-on-one meetings with them to dive in and get your FAFSA done, it's not just about getting the FAFSA done. Get it done correctly, right? It's so easy to make mistakes. I still get confused on the asset question. And I've probably done it like 7 times, and a lot more times than that now, okay? There's like 14 reasons why people make mistakes in the FAFSA. And guess what? When you make a mistake in the FAFSA, it doesn't go, oh, you made a mistake, you need to fix that. It doesn't work that way. It's just formulaic, okay? It's just like when the award letters come out, they're not gonna tell you, yeah, that's not our best offer, you can appeal. Just not gonna do it, right? But when you're working with somebody on a team, you're working with people who really know what they're doing. Why should you care about what we do, other than this topic I'm sure is on your mind? And I should have done a show of hands. How many of you, this is your first time through the process? Okay, so some of you have been through it before. What I would say, and I say this to everyone, and maybe you're an exception, if you've been through this before, don't think you know what you're doing, because you don't. There's just so much misinformation in this process. There's so many things you don't know, okay? And I'm a poster child for this. My daughter just found out when you show up at campus freshman year, you can go to the financial aid office and say, what other scholarships do you have that weren't part of the admissions process that I can apply for? She wound up getting an extra $5,600 scholarship just like that. And guess what? It reapplied the next year. I didn't know she could do that, and I've been thrashing away at this for years, okay? But this does boil down to money, all right? So last year, we ended with about 35 programs across the state. Those high schools and community-based organizations. We wound up helping about 2,000 seniors last year, so up from about 1,000 the year before. We're growing pretty fast because this need is huge. It's not going away anytime soon. I had a call with the new Commissioner Martinez a couple of weeks ago from the state of Massachusetts, great guy. And Chris Gabrielli was on the call, another sort of well-known person in the industry, and basically said, this problem's not going away anytime soon. They're not going to standardize, award letters. They're not going to standardize the rubrics that the colleges use. They're not going to mandate FAFSA in the state of Massachusetts anytime soon. So it ain't going away, right? And so that's the reason why this is growing. And the fact that you're here and you're listening and participating and thinking about college affordability, the good news, you can pat yourself on the back, is you're ahead of 99.999% of people right now because they don't get into the subject the way you need to. So feel good about at least that when you leave here this evening, because this is, I've been in your seat. It wasn't that long ago. And by the way, it goes by really quick. You're going to miss your kids when they're gone. So the more stress you can take out of this process and make this more about enjoying the journey, leveraging this incredible team of counselors you have at the school. Trust me, I've seen a lot of schools. Okay, you got a great team here. But you want this to be a great process with your kid. And if you get, like, nothing diminishes anxiety faster than action, right? So if you're taking control of the financial side of this, okay, you're taking out stress that doesn't need to be there. But we help, and the numbers don't lie. So last year, the schools we work with, 20% higher FAFSA completion rate. That's a big deal. Okay, right there, that's about $6 million of additional grant money that we got for those schools that we help with, let alone that they actually completed the forms accurately. Appeals, yes, you can appeal your award letters, which we'll talk a little bit later. We help families do that. 90% of the families that submitted, no, 80% that submitted award letters to us to help them understand it, we were successful getting them more money to the tune of $20,000 a year, right? $20,000. You add it all up, and we just finished doing this. I don't know if I had told you this, Megan, but we went back and looked at 700 award letters from last year of the seniors that we work with. And we're 3 times the national average in terms of more scholarships and grant money that we got from the colleges. That's the good money. They'll say financial aid, which includes loan and work study. I don't know about you, but that to me isn't financial aid. But we're 3 times, what does that mean? That's about $18,000 a year times 4. Who has an abacus? That's of over $70,000 and more scholarships and grants that the students we worked with got. So I don't know if you need more compelling data than that to work with us and let us help you. But those are the numbers. This is real-time stuff that just came out. So I'm even surprised by that. And I hear this all the time. Where was college affordable? You know, I could have worked with you guys a couple years ago. How many of you still have kids in college now? Okay, you can still go back to the colleges. There's still things you can do. They have to reapply every year. You can appeal every year. I already told you about the additional scholarships that are there. So don't feel like you're one and done with this. And if you've got kids in college, like, this very much changes the conversation too, and we'll talk about a little bit about that. Okay, so why do people overpay for college? I actually use this slide with every single person who touches a college affordable: students, counselors, teachers, parents, obviously, and donors, because this is how we help, right? This is the educated consumer part of it. So I'll summarize them here. The first thing, and I did every one of these things, right? So again, I'm the poster child. First thing that students and families don't do is make a budget. What can you actually afford to pay? You know, don't be that, that dad that calls in the spring of senior year and says, my daughter got into Boston College and I have no idea I'm going to pay for it. Can you help me, and how much is it going to cost me? I went to all your webinars. Well, obviously you didn't, right? But you don't do a budget, and you don't have that conversation with your kid that you need to have, okay? Everyone sort of sticks their head in the sand and hopes there's a Hail Mary, and hopefully we'll get that Market Basket scholarship. I mean, that's great stuff. And we'll talk about where the real big money is in here, but you need to have that conversation now, all right? You need to be talking about merit-friendly schools, and we've got a list of them here that's on the one page you can register with us. But that's the first mistake, and I did it with my first two, okay? The second one you started to hear is the forms themselves. The data's all out there. It's easy to screw them up. Don't do them, right? Do them late, right? All these things. The forms are what they are. You have to do them, okay? It's unavoidable. But the earlier you do them, especially the FAFSA, and you do them accurately because we helped you do them, you actually can get more merit aid, which is one of the other items on the list. So the forms are problematic. We get it. The next is merit aid. There's need-based, which is formulaic, and then there's the discretionary money that the private schools are going to say, I want your violin player at my school. Okay, whatever those talents are, this is where your parenting pays off. Your kids all have unique talents. You just got to figure out which are those schools that are more willing to give discretionary money, which is just discounting. That's all they're doing. Okay, a presidential scholarship. It's a discount, right? But you earned it. Your kid earned it, and you earned it as a parent by the way you helped them get through this. But not knowing this, my daughter's a perfect example. I pick on her a lot during these, but she came home from junior year. She had a list of schools, and she had Villanova and BC and Holy Cross and whatever, all these really great schools. And I said, Elizabeth, you're probably going to get into those schools, but they're not going to give us any money. So you have to have some merit-friendly, more affordable schools on your list. And she, unlike my sons, actually listens to me. And she did that. She added them on the list, and she wound up getting into Marist University in Poughkeepsie, which is a great school, gave great aid. I already told some of that story. None of that would have happened had we, A, not known about it, and number two, had the conversation with her about it, right, until it was too late. Okay, so that's the third thing that's problematic. The award letters, wait till they show up. You want to talk about confusing. Okay, you would think all the universities will give you the same thing to look at, right? This is our award letter. This is our costs. These are the discounts and scholarships and grants and work studies and loans, and this is what you're going to pay. Whew, they are confusing. Fitchburg State's one of the most confusing ones I've ever seen. I could talk for an hour about why that's the case. It basically boils down to antitrust. Is why colleges can't have the same award letters. It is what it is, okay? So on top of that, families don't know, myself included, that you can appeal. The typical discount from a private college is now up to 56%. The list price will say $100,000. It's probably going to be like in the 40s, okay? But you can appeal. I appealed every single year. All three of my kids were in college. Providence, middle one, nope. By the fourth year, I got an extra $4,000 out of them. Why? Because they went from being a profile school to a FAFSA-only school, which means they didn't count whether you had additional kids in college. I didn't know that. Once I explained that to them and went through the very painful appeals process, got an extra $4,000 out of them. It's a lot of money, okay? And then lastly, which is the one that's in the news the most, is loans, right? The student debt crisis. Number one's mortgage. Number two's student loans. Number three's credit cards. So student loans worse than credit cards. Why does that happen? A lot of these other reasons. But more importantly, number one reason why kids drop out of college, it's not grades, it's financial. Guess what? And I had 2 older ones that like, you got to do the profile, you have to do the FAFSA. Guess what? When the kids go to college, they're kind of on their own. They're becoming young adults. They have to log into the portal. They have to do the FAFSA. They have to do the first step now. Okay, and guess what? They don't do it in a lot of cases. And the colleges the second year will give you an award letter, and guess what? Where there used to be a scholarship or a Pell Grant, now it's a loan called something loan that's really easy to apply and get, and the interest rates are anywhere from 10 to 18% because they're kids and they don't have any credit history. So the problem just exasperates itself. Those are the 5 reasons why you wind up overpaying for college, okay? But we're here to help you. This is the good news. Okay, so the way that our program's developed is we meet you where you are. We're agnostic in terms of who we help. It's not just lower income students from gateway communities. We help those students and we help everybody else. Okay, so whatever your need is, whether you're first time through this, whether you've been through this multiple times, whether your question is just a very simple, can you give me an appeals template to, I don't even know where to start, and let me tell you about my financial situation, that's fine too. Wherever you are, we'll meet you. Right? So we got a great webinar series, which is kind of the core of what we do. And unlike traditional MIFA nights, not to pick on MIFA, okay, but that's usually what's made available to families in the state of Massachusetts. It's 2 hours of everything you need to know about financial aid one night at like 6 o'clock at night when we've all been working all week. Okay, that doesn't work. Right? Our webinars are for what is very specific that you need to know at that time of the year. So the one that we did 2 weeks ago was forms, FAFSA and profile. When you register with us, you'll get the recording of it. And the next one that comes up is unique family circumstances. Guess which one's the most well-attended one that we have all year? It's that one, okay? And then when you get to the spring, it's award letters, it's appeals, so on and so forth. So we break it down for you. But then on top of that is the personalized one-on-one help that you get. So we got some great self-help tools you can use that our webinars will explain how to do. But the bottom line is you can reach out to those folks that I identified that are on our team whenever you have a question. If you're just comfortable with an email, you can do that. If you want a personal one-on-one call with them, you can do that. Okay, we meet you where you are. So some pretty important details about it. We're helping you, we're just making you an educated consumer. Our job is not to help you cheat the system. Don't call us if that's what you're trying to do. Okay, that's not what we do. We're just trying to help you with the experts and the model that we have. But we are all about trust. We are all about confidentiality. You're not just submitting your tax returns through an email to us. Like when those things, and if they're appropriate, they're submitted through a secure portal. We keep your information utmost confidential. We don't share information. I already explained that we're a non-for-profit. We're just here to help you. Okay, but trust is huge in this, you know? And I've lived this as a parent. I was not comfortable giving my financial information to the counselor at the small Catholic high school that my kids went to, and they didn't want it either, you know? You kind of want to have an independent third party that kind of are obviously experts in this that are helping you with it. And I would add to that, as I said before, we understand unique family situations. Don't feel like yours is, you know, any different per se. We're here to help, and we understand that. Just some other advice I'd give you along the way before I touch on the FAFSA and the profile real quick. Back to like, your situation's unique, and almost every college goes about this differently. So there is some normalization through the forms, right? There's the FAFSA and the profile, but you're all different. And the rubrics that the colleges use, like it or not, is their own. And by the way, they change year to year. And boy, is this a year to be getting more money out of schools. Like Meg and I were talking about this sort of, I don't know, what's the effect where there's less babies were born in 2000, the financial crisis. And these schools, I'm telling you, they are hurting from an enrollment standpoint. They are a business that needs customers. So this is the year to be getting those extra discounts and letting us help you do it. And probably, Megan, as you're saying, take a little bit of a shot, you know, and let the team here help you strategize around, you know, lists of schools, and we'll help with the affordability piece of it. So, but, you know, be cautious. I already said if you've been through it before and you think you know what you're doing, don't, you know, let us help you. But also be careful, like what you think the neighbor's advice is, or, you know, what you found online, or, you know, ChatGPT, or, you know, Facebook groups. There's so much misinformation out there. Like, don't, and just this way you got to put your ego aside, you know? Don't, like, think you got to have to do this yourself, or somebody else that you know is going to, you know, my neighbor went through this, I'll go talk to them. Just talk to experts, right? And let us help you. I probably said that 3 or 4 times now, but this is the journey side of this. And I already mentioned this. You really ideally start working with us junior year, late in junior year. It's okay. It's not like you've missed opportunities, because the main things you need to know now are affordable list of schools, merit-friendly, and getting the FAFSA done. Okay, like those are the 2 things you want to do, and let this team help you. And as it gets more, technical in your own situation, just jump on a call with our team and say, all right, I need some help figuring out what to expect as I start the application process, including actually getting the application done. But then we're going to move along, and then when you get to the spring, early in the spring, depending on if you do early decision, early action, like those are your decisions to make. I'm not a fan of early decision. You give away all your leverage, but those award letters are going to show up, and trust me, you're going to be like, that guy was right? And you may get, your student may apply to Tufts. That's $90,000 a year. In Fitchburg State, that's $25,000 a year. You put the 2 award letters next to him, you're like, I don't know what I'm going to pay. Is it probably cheaper to go to Tufts? I probably beat this a little bit to death, but it's pretty important. But the point is, when you get there on the journey, that's a key point in time. And we were just talking about this. When those award letters show up, 2 things. They are going to start pressuring your kid to make that deposit like you wouldn't believe. And those of you who have been through this probably recall this. It's like, and every excuse. Oh, put your deposit now so you can get on preferred housing list or whatever, preferred meal plan. I don't know, whatever gimmick they're going to come out with. Do not give in to that, okay? This is your ultimate time in terms of negotiating, presuming you've done some of the things we've talked about, or even if you haven't, okay? Their first offer is not their best offer. You have a window that'll be about a 6-week period of time to negotiate, and we'll help you do it. We'll even do it for you, okay? The worst they can say is no, but it's like being the first-time home buyer. This is when you got all your leverage, and you don't want to give it away. And don't put that pressure on your kid. You might be done with this process. We saw this a lot the last, especially with the FAFSA delay. It was just like, I am so done with this. Just accept that. And your kid might be the one that's thinking that way. Don't do that. Be patient. Let the process play out. Let us help you, okay? Because if you can save thousands of dollars, my team always says, stop making these commitments. Well, okay, so I'll put the disclaimer out there. There's no guarantees it will save you money through the process. But there's lots of opportunity. And then, yeah, I get going. Yeah. No, no such thing. Not at all. Not at all. And what I would share from my experience is some of them make it more difficult. Providence's process was a little arduous, but call the financial aid office at the schools anytime you want with any question. They're great people. They're just trying to be fair, but they also don't have accurate information. Right out of the gate, when you submit the FAFSA, you're submitting tax returns from 2 years ago. Whose financial situation has changed in the last 2 years? Mine did. Every single year for the last 5 years, something changed. They don't know that, so you have to let them know. All right, so you have to get on the phone and you got to call them, and they're great. They're good people. They want to help. They may not be able to do what you want them to do, but it's never hurt. I kind of joke like Providence, like, oh yeah, here comes Mr. Gardner again. I was on file, but no, I've never seen that. Yeah. FSAID? Yep.
Yeah, and then do the verification and it there was a statement on there that said like the student needs to create his or her own FAFSA and then parents create their own FAFSA. And so do they blend together and
Sure.
later?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump that, and I want to be respectful because you have Q&A time that I'm probably bumping into. So anyway, let me wrap up the process and I'll come to that one next. On the process, the key point in this one is we will then help you every year after you're in college. So this is a 6-year journey. You don't just show up and deal with financial aid your senior year. If you do, you're probably going to get the worst possible outcome, okay? So this is a journey. So let's get to the FAFSA, and I'll touch upon this. So we'll get to the FSA. Well, so the FAFSA is the federal form. It's free, okay? Everybody should complete this. There's no reason not to do this. I don't care if you've got $10 billion in the bank. There's still a reason why you should do this, okay?
If your scholar is thinking about taking a gap year or going direct to work or the union, it's still really important
Yes.
to do this form, because if they were ever to go back to school, and a
So the reason I'm not going deep into the FAFSA and the profile, which are incredibly important, is one, when you register with us, you can watch the webinar, which will, I guarantee you, answer about any question that you have. And you can also just schedule time or email call our team with whatever your specific questions are. Okay? And what I suggest everyone does is watch the webinar and or just schedule right off of the landing page a FAFSA completion meeting with our team, and they'll get you through it. And it's not just about getting it done, it's getting it done accurate, as I had said before. Okay, so I'm not gonna go deep, but I'll hit your question because it's a key one. You have to get, in order to get the FAFSA, a couple things have to happen. The student has to drive the process. There's no way around it, okay? And every student needs to create what's called an FSA ID. They should do that now and let us help you get this done. It's not hard. There was some bugs with this last year, and it was new versus the year before, but it's gotten a lot better. Okay? You also have to have an FSA ID. There's a decision tree. Oops, I'm on the wrong slide. This decision tree tells you like who needs to do it. Okay, just in the essence of time. If you have a question, come up afterwards, but it is kind of self-explanatory. All right, the easy answer is if you're married and you're both in the same household and you file a tax return, then only one parent needs to do it. If it's not, then you have to kind of figure out which probably where most people fall. There's a decision tree for that, but this should explain that. And again, our team can help you answer that question, or I can stick around afterwards to answer it. So, but just assume there's one parent or guardian that has to do it. You need to create an FSA ID. If you filed for Pell Grants many years ago, you still have your own FAFSA ID, FSA ID. It stays with you your whole life. It's like a Social Security number, okay? And the same will be true for your kids. It's very simple. You need 4 things: your exact name, your Social Security number, which for a lot of kids are like, I don't even know what that is, right? So that is your biggest challenge, and an email and a cell phone number, right? And the reason you need the cell phone number is for 2-factor authentication. Just know that cell phone numbers get recycled, right? And so that's one of the curveballs, but there's a way around dealing with that phenomenon when it comes up. But when you create your FSA ID for the first time, you have to give it typically 3 days. And you get confirmation that you submitted it, you got confirmation that it was verified, then you can go in and start the FAFSA. The student starts the FAFSA process, and the way that they connect with you, this has gotten a lot easier for last year. This is one of the big friction points last year, is the kid had to know the guardian or parent's Social Security number, exact spelling, phone numbers, and it just like created, Now it's just an email. This is a big change. So as long as you just have an email that connects you to the person who needs to participate in the process, it works. And they've done a lot of end-to-end user testing with this, so it should be a lot better. Okay? Again, in the webinar that's recorded, you can go a lot deeper into this or just schedule time with our team. Yep. 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 And then the student, as part of that, will complete their steps of the FAFSA, which is like 5 questions. Income, assets, which is basically nothing, where do you go to school, and, and then they can submit to up to 20 schools, and it's at no cost. If your kid's submitting more than 20 schools, you really should be having a conversation with your counselors, kind of thing. But it's all free. That part of it's free, all right? It's now down to what we're seeing is a matter of minutes. So don't wait on this. Have your kid get it done. Let us help you do it, okay? And then get the FAFSA done, because I hate to tell you, the early bird gets the worm. Okay, when these schools, when you apply and they start giving out their merit aid, right, and if they don't have the FAFSA, they're going to wait. And meanwhile, they're going to want to fill the seats, and they want to throw out the money. So there's no reason to wait on getting the FAFSA done. And by the way, it's not just for federal grant money and federal loans. It's what the colleges use for their rubrics when they're giving out merit aid. Okay, so back to how these things are all connected. The profile is the other form. I don't know, any of you know that you're applying to the profile? If your kids have, it's for the 300, sort of more selective. They're just going a lot deeper. It's a lot more manual. It's not as efficient as the FAFSA. It's a pain in the you-know-what, okay? But we'll help you with it. And there's no reason to wait on that as well. I already talked about appeals. We're here to help you. Our next webinar, great testimonial. Here's the QR code, how to get in touch with us. We have, and you can get this from Megan. I'm sure it's on the awesome Google site that you have. But we do have hard copy of one page about our program. Then on the other side has a list of 50 merit-friendly schools. Megan's doing great. And so you can grab one of those from us. And you can have the slide deck. So right there, financialaid@collegeaffordable.org. Okay, but you do have to complete the family registration. Yes? Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. I think what you have to do is look when they give you the award letter and they say the presidential scholarship, there's usually the disclaimer, you know, you have to maintain a certain GPA. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have to. They have to disclose. And by the way, the biggest money in this whole process, the local scholarships piece is great, and you got a tremendous Google site that has the access to those. That's not where the big money is. The big money is on the front end of this process. It's the affordable list of schools, merit-friendly schools, and then it's doing the appeals piece of it. Okay, so just know that, yes, the local scholarships piece are great. Some of them get displaced, which is a whole nother sort of dirty secret in the industry sort of thing. But these things all need to be done. It's not, I've just seen this too much where the parents are like, all right, you got to accept it, now go get those scholarships done. You got to do that too, but you got to do these front-end things, which is where the bigger money is. So I want to be respectful of time. I don't have a Red Sox update, but I will stick around for questions at the end. I'm not a financial aid expert, as I said, but I can help. I do enough to be dangerous, and I usually get a line at the end. So anyway, thank you.
I did see a few people taking pictures. I do want to remind everybody that this slide deck, including the college affordable slides, will be available both on the website, Salem High School's website, under the college and career tab, as well as sent out through Parent Square, available on Google, and can be emailed PDF by request, either to myself or your student's counselor. So there'll be lots of ways to access this well after tonight. So please do not feel like you need to take pictures or scramble to write everything that was presented down. This will be available throughout the year. It's not going to go anywhere. I did want to open the floor up to some questions. There was a lot of information presented tonight. I do want to thank y'all for your time and participation in this process. And once again, just that this is that we're here for everyone, and that you are all part of this process with your scholar. We're here for you as well. So please book appointments with your child's counselor. You can contact myself at any time with questions. If you have just from basic updates, where is my student in this process, to I want to go in detail over the list of colleges that they're applying to, how do we get waivers for applications, where does this live in the Common App versus Naviance, we're working with a consultant, can they have access to Naviance, any of those things, we're here to assist in that and have lots of resources available. So my team and I will stay back for questions, but this concludes our presentation for tonight. Thank you so much again for coming. Please enjoy a Black Cat cookie before you leave. We have plenty over here, and thank you again.